forgot to put the do not disturb on. So somebody's going to call me. Hey, everybody, how are you doing? Today, you guys have a great treat. I have a great treat because I have with me Barbara Melvin and April O'Leary, and I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about themselves and why we're here. Why we're here is because I wanted to have a discussion about faith and feelings, and I wanted to get your honest opinions, and we were just going to kind of let the camera roll and see what happens. So, Barbara, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
On like a day's notice.
Yes.
Like this was kind of impromptu, you know. But sometimes those are the best ways to get, you know, natural conversations going. So tell us a little bit about yourself. And
Sure. My name is Barbara Melvin. I'm a vice president with First Florida Integrity Bank, and I am originally from Virginia, lived in Michigan for a while, and loved it before being relocated down here. And married. My husband's name is Daniel Melvin. He's a professional singer. And,
amazing singer.
Like
yes, so great.
Yes, very
so
white.
Good. Yes.
So we've just been honored to be here and honored to work with you and be with April. So thank you so much, Shemane, for the invite.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. Okay, April, you're next.
I feel like you know me. Like
I know you, but everybody else needs to get to know you.
Well, I'm April O'Leary. I'm a friend of Shemane's, and I'm from Chicago originally, and I can't imagine enduring a winter. So those of you that are north, God bless you. It's been like 60 here, and I'm like freezing.
Like everybody's getting the fur coats out. Well,
So
I'll show you what I got.
These days. Oh my God.
These were on my feet when the girls came to the door.
Yes, because it's
actually
60 degrees.
Yes.
So
it might have gotten up to 68.
Feel bad.
I know. So, all right, I want to ask a little bit about your backgrounds in faith and why I chose you two to join me in this conversation about faith and feelings, because I want to be able to be more open about feelings. And I know, you know, we're supposed to be, you know, just praying that God's got our back and everything will work out, and it will. I know that. But what I wanted to talk about today is there are times in all of our lives where, and what do you do, Barbara, when those buttons get pushed for you?
I do pray, and I meditate a lot, because being in a supervisory role with so many people counting on me and want me to be their advisor, I need advice sometimes. So I have to have faith. And even coming down to Florida, we came down to Florida not knowing anyone. So we stepped out on faith and said, let's do this. And it's been a blessing to be here, but it has been tough sometimes, you know, because we want to walk that walk and we want to be spiritual and be there for everybody. But then we need someone there for us. So we know that when we go to God in prayer, we know He's there for us, but we still need family. You know, we still need each other. So a lot of times when I meditate, I try to meditate on what can help me so that I can help others.
Okay, so what about in the heat of the moment? Okay, I mean, your husband's amazing. And maybe he doesn't push your buttons at all.
Ooh.
What do you do in the heat of the moment?
Oh,
Daniel watching.
I know. It's like, oh,
He's
yes.
perfect.
Do you just go, hang on, let me pray about this?
We have words. We
have
have words, and it's you know, I'm not a person that curse. So I do not curse. And even when I try to say something, it doesn't even sound right. But I know sometimes I have to just go inside myself and be quiet, because I can go off. I was in Michigan for a while, in Detroit, and you can, you know, go off, but you have to try to reflect and be personable enough to see someone else's point of view. And there's a reason why they're saying what they're saying. They're thinking the way they're thinking. So we want to try to hold everything in, but it doesn't work all the time. It does not.
What about you, April? What do you do? In the heat of the moment, you don't have time to pray. You're like, what do you do? What? Is there like any process?
I'm a little bit the opposite, actually. Like, I'm typically a conflict avoider, and I actually had an experience this week. So I'm really doing a lot of reflection lately, and you know, I see the pattern for me is like, if there's a conflict, I don't want to deal with it, so I'll just ignore it and I'll go do my own thing. and then I'll just kind of let the breeze pass, and then I'll just get back on. But over time, that builds resentment, and so I'm trying to learn how to more proactively speak up, and in a way that's comfortable for me, where I get my point across, but I'm not, like there's a saying, say what you mean and mean what you say, but don't say it mean. And so I'm trying to do that more. So for me, I think that's the challenge, is not backing away, but when you really feel something, to speak up.
And so on that note, when you really feel something, what is your path? Like you talked about moving from Detroit to here. How did that, like, tell me a little bit about that process and what you went through when you decided to come and
Actually, sure. That was a situation between even Daniel and myself, because him being a professional singer, I felt like our lives were just growing apart. I was very faithful and, going to church all the time, and he would be singing to 2:00 at night and then come in, and I felt like we were being divided. And I prayed to God, and I said, God, if we want to save our marriage, what are we going to do? And a woman just called me. I prayed like that Wednesday, and by that Friday, a lady called and said, do you want to go to Florida? And I'm like, okay, Lord, thank you. And I had never heard of Naples. I never heard of Southwest Florida. So when she told us, would you like to go to Southwest Florida? Of course, it was February, freezing cold. Anywhere they sent us. I'm like, I don't care where you send us in Florida, we will be there. But it was a leap of faith, because for 3 months, we sort of really didn't separate, but we did, because he was under contract. And it was the best thing ever, because I left him in Michigan and I came here by myself, and I needed it. Because if I would not have, we may not be together today. And that's a story that we tell one another and tell others, that it's okay that, we had to step away because of our lives. And it actually brought us closer. So I know that it had to be my faith in God that really brought us back, because he got rebaptized. He dedicated his life back to Christ, but it was something we needed to do. But had, I not had the stronger faith, it would have been devastating for both of us. So coming to Florida was the best thing that could have happened to us.
My husband and I spend a lot of time apart, and I honestly think, and we both said.
I was going to say, tell me.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Let's talk about your condo. Let's talk about.
And he's acknowledged it too. That's one of the reasons we've been able to stay married for almost 30 years. Is that he's a very strong personality, and it's difficult at times.
And I was going to say, when he pushes your buttons, what
yes,
do you do?
Well, that's why I'm bringing you girls in.
We all need help.
I'm taking notes. Wait a minute. Okay, what was the thing you said? Okay, part of the 10 tips.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but it's true. I mean, there are always people that push our buttons, and when we do spend time apart, it allows us to appreciate one another. And we'll text each other things, and we did something a few days ago, and I had the honor of participating in a fundraiser for the PACE Center for Girls, and he couldn't make it, and I was a little bummed. But then he sent me a nice text afterward and said, I'm so proud of you. And so I wouldn't have got that text.
Right.
He was right there going, I got to go to it. You know
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So sometimes I totally understand that. And not that I'm encouraging everybody to take a break from their relationships, but
It helps. It does.
yeah.
Well, and I think too, and one of the things that you just said, Barbara, is there's certain times when you notice you're growing apart, and that's not necessarily good. And my husband and I went through that recently, where we were kind of living these parallel lives. So you have to create commonalities, but I think it's also important to have your own stuff too. Have your own friends, have your own interests, have your own activities you enjoy, because I know some people are too enmeshed, and that I don't think works so well either.
And I think when I was growing up, I saw my parents, and I think as young girls, we're similar age group.
Right.
I mean, you're over 40, but I'm
Yes.
way over 40. I think that I saw that era growing up, and I wanted to be a good wife. I wanted to be there for my husband, but what happens is the consequences of making yourself available for somebody else is that you give up yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we're all, 50, 60, 70 going, what happened? What about me? So how long have you and Daniel been married?
We've been married now 22 years and been together 28. And the irony is that he's 19 years older. So, he's 19 years older, but the good thing is that he has really helped me. He's helped my career, even with our own business. He's wonderful. But I agree with April. And the one thing that he does encourage is that I have my own voice. So he always encourages me to have my voice, and even going out on my own. He's like, hey, it's time for you to, be your own boss. It's time for you to go out there, start doing your motivational speaking. So he really has been my champion. And for, to give credit to him, sometimes I'm the one that want to follow in his footsteps, and then he say, no, Barb, get out there. Because I'm like, well, you've been there, you've been experienced. I'm the second wife. So it's like, okay, I want to learn. I want to be the good wife, but sometimes, like I said, we have to know our own voice. We have to have our own voice, and we have to make sure that we love ourselves. Because we, especially you two as mothers, you're always doing so much for the family. You forget about yourself.
Yeah.
And I tell people the 10%, I say it's a 70% rule. 10% is you tithe, 10% you put money into your account, but 10% you have to give to yourself. You have to love yourself, be yourself, even if it's walking on the beach, whatever it is, you have to do something for yourself. Because we as women, we don't.
Yeah.
We do too much for others, which is okay, but you have to do something for yourself.
Or then you grow up to be resentful.
Yes.
And that creates a situation where you become bitter and angry, and nobody wants to be around you.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's really important for us to each find, and that's how we met. I don't know if you knew this, but when I started doing speaking engagements with you, that was what, 4 years ago?
Yes, 4 years ago.
4 years ago, we did Dress for Success.
Sure did.
And what else have we've done?
The president, then we did the thing with Shelly Aristobal.
Celebrating Sparkle.
Celebrating Sparkle, yes.
We've done a few in Michigan and
in
Naples.
Here. Yes.
And that was my first really, I think that Celebrating Sparkle was my first public speech.
Oh, wow.
No
way.
I think it was. I think it was.
Oh, wow.
The funny thing is,
that's when I met you. Do you realize that's the day I met you?
Really?
Yes, because we all met each other that day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
Yes.
But yeah, I remember that. But I can go up on stage and teach Zumba to hundreds and thousands of people, but speaking,
right?
Like, are you comfortable with that?
I am. I love it. This is my world. This is my lane. I love speaking.
Good for you.
Do.
And what about you? Is that your world?
I don't mind it. I'm not afraid of it. I'd say I could probably be better. Of course, you can always get better. You know, you watch some people who just have that, like Shemane, I'd say, has the real natural, engaging smile and good stories, and you walk the stage very well. You know what I mean? Some people just have that, and I would say I'm not quite to your level.
Oh, stop.
You're there.
I feel like I can be taught.
Yes, we all can.
Yeah.
So it's, but it's fun. Yeah, I don't have that. I know they say people's number one fear is public
Public
speaking.
For me, it was, and that's why.
Not for me.
That's why I did that, because
Wow.
I knew
You didn't show it.
Not
You
at
did
all.
not show it.
No, not at all. No, you were natural.
I remember the stand up, sit down. You remember that? Like you're like do
Oh,
the
yeah,
squats,
yeah.
and you're
Yes,
like
yes.
she had
4
us standing
minutes,
up
4
and sitting
minutes.
down for like
Okay,
the
let's
1
go.
minute.
Come on.
4 minutes. Yeah, it was the 4 minutes.
Yes.
And you're like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
didn't realize I was so out of shape.
I thought it's an opportunity for us to relieve the tension and break the ice, and I engage people. When I do a speech, I now, on my book, 4 Minutes a Day, Rock and Roll Your Way to Happy, one of the things I talk about is, you'd be surprised how 4 minutes of squats will feel. If you need
I
to.
felt it.
Yeah. And we only did 1 minute. Okay, so to wrap up, tell everybody where they can find you and what you're up to next.
Well, my next adventure is working definitely with my husband. We're doing masterminds and just reading different books, and again, just public speaking. So they can find me on my Facebook, Barbara Melvin, and just getting out in the community a lot. So I'm around.
And tell about Daniel. He's so great. I just
Daniel,
love.
if you like Lou Rawls and Barry White, he
yeah.
sounds just like both of them. So he's around town singing. So if you need an entertainer, call him.
And April, what's up for you? You've got some new things going on.
So
You just wrote a book.
I do. I have a new book. It's my first book in the Christian world called The Ultimate Love Affair, Awaken to God's Love in 40 Days. And it's a 40-day devotional. But on top of that, I've had so many people ask me about book publishing, and so I decided to start a concierge book publishing company called O'Leary Publishing. So if you have a book in you and you know that you have a great story, hit me up at O'Leary Publishing.
That's awesome.
Will do.
And I'll give you guys links. And you'll
And
be
what
able
are
to
you
find-
up to?
What am I? Oh yeah, what am I up to? I'm actually writing a new book too. It's I'm not going to tell you the name of it yet, but
Part-time
No.
marriage?
Part-time.
that is funny. Maybe I should.
We all can learn a few things
Oh
from
my
that
god!
one.
I mean, seriously.
Hall pass to
Hall pass, right? We were talking about that before we came out today. Because I used to say that all the time. Like, I got my hall pass extended, and somebody said, "Well, you know what that means, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can stay where I'm at, which is I'm not going to disclose the location, but I can travel more often. I got a hall pass." And they went, "No, that means like you can have a hall pass for like that one special person that like Brad Pitt that's always on your list. But who would be your hall pass?"
Ooh, I shall not say. My husband may be watching. No? Denzel called me.
That's
My
a good
favorite movie ever, Man on Fire.
Oh, yes.
Favorite
yes.
all time. Yeah.
Really?
Now you'll find this
He's so
interesting.
good.
My two favorite movies, the dichotomy: Man on Fire and Sound of Music.
Oh,
Seriously.
I do love Sound of Music.
I love Sound
You
of
can't.
Music.
I know. How
That was my
can you
first
not?
musical.
Yeah,
That was
how
my
can you
first
not
musical.
love that?
So funny.
Okay, so hall pass.
I was hoping you would forget about me. I was like, should I duck under the table? Gotta go.
April's like, I gotta go.
See, I'll tell you who I love just because I love their accent and their music is Keith Urban.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would say he would be up there.
Hall pass.
I'll pass.
Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you
But
so
this is
much.
a Christian show.
I know,
Yes,
right?
it is.
But
Faith
I
and
wanted
feelings.
Faith and
So if you have
feelings.
feelings for other people,
This is
something to do with
another.
faith?
You're going someplace you don't want to go right now, April. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for
I'm
joining
joking.
us. We are hopefully we'll be able to do this again if you guys send us tons of hearts, and this will also be a podcast. So look forward to checking out my podcast called This Rockin' Life. It's available now on iTunes. I'm all over the board.
Do you still
I'm
have
on-
your Inner Circle registrations, or is that over?
No, you can still register for my Inner Circle program, and you
Text
go ahead.
CIRCLE to 345-345 for more info.
That's right. 345-345. And you know what? I always, we could just keep going on and on. But one of the reasons I do that is because it's changing people's lives. And that's my goal in life, is to change people's lives.
And I'll just add in this one thing. Is we were at this fundraising event the other night, and a lady that I know loosely came up to me, and she was telling me about all the struggles she was having in her life. She goes, I signed up for Shemane's Inner Circle because I really need a life reset. And I said, you're going to get it.
Aw,
Love that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Love that.
Aw.
So
All right,
she
you guys.
was excited.
So, Barbara, you probably don't know about this wave that I do when I end my stuff, but you start from left and you go to right. So we're going to do that and say bye at the same time.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Who's going to push off?